folks? Mega Brain Channel here. So today I want to take a look at the Polight case and how people are covering it. So 2 days ago, news broke by another YouTuber by the name of Tasha K about a guy named Brother Polight, who is an influencer or advisor for elite celebrities and conscious community teacher. News broke that he may have sexually assaulted a minor young girl and that he was jailed and he was denied bail and that they found his semen on clothes. Basically, this whole investigation was over and done with within the time span of the story getting to Tasha K. But beyond that, the next 2 days that I woke up, there was an abundance of black men across social media that had already convicted him of a crime that was still inside the alleged phase, that is still currently inside the alleged phase. I think that's the biggest story here, but I will go over the charge again, which is Polight was alleged to have taken his girlfriend's daughter on a ride with him to a nightclub in order to speak to her and solve the issue that the daughter and the mother had. So basically he was trying to bring peace between them. That's part of his whole thing that he does. And let me just say off the top that I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Sometimes I have to, remind people of that so they don't think that there's any bias in the way that I'm speaking. Me and Polight absolutely have a disagreement on the higher power, so to speak. Me, obviously, I believe in the Lord Christ. I think he's going to crack the sky and come down here and judge people, destroy Sodom and Gomorrah once again, new kingdom, all of that stuff. Polight absolutely rejects that. He thinks that, I think they believe like Egyptian gods walked through the sands and levitated the pyramids and all that kind of crazy stuff. This is just to give you guys some detail on where I stand in comparison to Polight. Other than those differences, I don't have any personal problem with him. I don't hate him because he's successful. I don't dislike the way that he carries himself with his money. I don't care about any of those things. And so looking at this, I can come from a more logical perspective without maliciousness or any of the other things that these other guys are displaying inside their videos. And so I just want to say he's innocent until proven guilty inside my eyes. And in social media amongst black men, it's almost as if they just couldn't wait to jump on this and ruin him. Like, say, a YouTuber named JD Black. Throughout his whole video, he says allegedly, when talking about the charges against Polight or things that Polight may or may not have done, but he's maliciously saying them as if he's already found Polight guilty of everything that he's done. And so while he keeps on saying allegedly, he's telling the crowd that Polight did it indirectly, underhandedly, and I don't respect that. To me, specifically JD Black, I think maybe he just doesn't like Polight for whatever reason, even though he said he's indifferent. But the bulk of the conversation he was having was very derogatory in terms of him mentioning Polight's name and his way of life. So I didn't respect that. That's actually the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, and made me want to come and do this video, because I've been watching Saneter, I've been watching Young Pharaoh, JD Black, Hassan Campbell, I could just keep on going, Kwame Brown, and everybody, even though they complain about the Me Too movement for the last 4 years, they are unofficial members of the Me Too movement, because the first thing they do is find a man guilty as soon as there are charges against him. And to me, that's just not logical, and especially not inside your best interest if you're a man. One other thing I wanted to mention was Saneter, another YouTuber, charged, he implied that Polight was a child pedophile himself. And I was on his live stream yesterday because I do watch his live streams from time to time. People were asking him about that, and he kept on deflecting on the question, disrespecting the people that were simply asking him, well, why aren't you standing on what you said? Like, people deserve an actual answer for that. And all he kept on doing was saying, this is what the people want. They want to divide us, the white man, and all of this crazy stuff. And that made me lose a little bit of respect for Saneter, because Saneter really went in on Polight and tried to make him out to be some kind of child pedophile and kidnapper. And so I think Saneter, he owes Polight an apology. If he can't stand on what he said, if he doesn't believe what he said, then he owes Polight an apology, and Polight should demand an apology, because you should not be putting allegations, especially inside the climate that we are inside this country and in the world today. You should not be throwing allegations of that nature out at people just because you're mad at them. Now, if you have accurate information that he has done something wrong, then stand on it. Don't just because he brought you out to California or Miami or Florida or something like that and you had a good weekend with him, maybe he gives you a couple of loans here and there. You don't get to just throw that under the rug. You need to answer for that. And your audience, it's not just the haters that's trying to divide you. Your audience wants you to answer for that. You either need to apologize to Polight to help clear his name inside this ongoing investigation, or you need to stand on that so that we can better understand what we're dealing with in this investigation again. And so I just wanted to put that out there because it really messed me up that he kept on beating around the bush and dancing around the direct question that people were trying to give him directly. People were trying to baby spoon feed it to him. Every time they wouldn't get off of this for about a good 20 minutes. And then people started calling in, doing damage control for him, saying, we love you, Saneter, you do so much for the streets. Yeah, we already know all of that. Nobody's even trying to contest that. So stop. I don't want to get into the conversation like that, but we don't need you guys to come in and remind us everything that Saneter's done for the conscious community and, awakening people. I found my way into the Lord in Christ with the Hebrew Israelites through the Saneter channel. He gets plenty of credits for all of the work he's done inside the black community as far as educating us on different doctrines that black people study inside the black community. It was a very fun time when it started. You owe your audience an answer on that, or you owe Polight an apology. I'm calling for Polight to make Saneter either apologize or clarify what he was saying when he was calling you a pedophile indirectly. Now, what is being alleged has not been verified. Tasha K said he was put in jail and that he was denied bail. But we see already that Polight has not been denied bail if he was in fact put in prison or in jail for a certain amount of time. He was on Instagram Live people saying that I'm denied bail and that I'm in jail, but here I am free. And so to me, that discredits her story totally. And now we're looking at more reliable sources for information on these charges and updates on a case in general. Tasha K's word means absolutely nothing to me. It's garbage, because I understand that she's a drama queen and mostly ghetto, black, ratchet people pay attention to her because they want the drama. I had to jump in real quick on this video to make another point that I think is important to the conversation, and that is, even though I disagree with Polight on things of religious nature, I still believe that Polight is an intelligent person, and I also believe that he's too intelligent to do something this stupid inside the climate that we're in. You know, a lot of guys, like the other black men on YouTube, like to act like they're some kind of psychology majors and tell you why somebody that's intelligent would do something so reckless in the form of, oh, they just want more power, they just want to dominate more things. And you know, if we're talking about, you know, the elites that live inside castles that want to rule the world and that are currently trying to implement global rule, then maybe yes, because we all know that there's an underground pedophile ring that a lot of Hollywood elites are involved in. But for somebody like Polight to take his girlfriend's daughter to a hotel, try to rape her after he drugs her up, and then tries to make her throw. This sounds absolutely ridiculous for somebody of his intellect and somebody of his awareness. I don't believe for one second that he would put himself inside such a situation when he's a black man like me who loves women and he has his pick of the litter. I don't agree with social media psychiatrists trying to defend the allegations against him by trying to say he's just a rich, powerful man that wants to rule over a little girl because it's too easy to get all of the finest women in the world, so he just wants a little girl. It doesn't make it makes absolutely no sense. I reject that in totality. I'm going to wait for the evidence to come out one way or another. If it happens to you, you're going to want people to give you the benefit of the doubt. You're going to want your day in court. You're going to want to remain innocent until you are proven guilty, especially if you know your ass is not guilty. So, if he is guilty, then the justice system will, you know, put that out there to the world, and he will have to deal with the consequences. Now, even with that being said, he's over there with them Hollywood motherfuckers. Because I know when you're inside that world, you either play by the rules or they'll destroy you. I mean, let's go back to Bill Cosby and R. Kelly. Bill Cosby was put in prison because of something that he may or may not have done back in the 80s. Or even as early as the early 2000s, but that's still ridiculously a long time ago. And the mere fact that women and men get high and drunk together and have sex could land you in prison 30 years from now should terrify all of you. Luckily, mostly all of the women that I've had relations with still respect me to this day, aside from maybe my son's mother and one other woman. But I largely have no fear of any of the women that I've dealt with coming out and trying to say that I did something to them that against their will. They loved it, I loved it, and I respected them as women, and so they still respect me to this day. I'm still friends with a lot of my ex-girlfriends to this day. Point is, you don't want to fuel this kind of behavior, and that is exactly what you are doing. I'm coming at this from a logical place because I want you guys to see the error in your ways. A lot of you are too proud. A lot of you have developed fan bases and think that you can't come down off that high horse that you're on, and so you'll reject what I'm saying. But I hope subconsciously it makes you choose better wording in future videos about Polight or any other man that's accused of doing something. R. Kelly's another one. They literally just decided he's going to go to jail for raping some girls that there's no proof that he ever raped. They're telling that randomly media outlets are saying there's new tapes that show R. Kelly in 4K, and then it's just out there in the world. Meanwhile, it doesn't really exist. R. Kelly's rotting away in prison for something he probably said in a meeting with some record executives that they didn't like, and that's just what it is. So if people can just put you in jail indefinitely because of some social media hype, then you're in trouble, especially if you become a public figure who's making money, who doesn't want to engage inside certain deals after you already got into contracts with people. This type of mess is set up to entrap men, wealthy men, especially inside the black community. You don't play by our games, we'll ruin you. And so think about that while you get on your soapbox. Most of you are ex-killers, ex-drug dealers. Don't get it twisted, folks. Most black men on social media are retired gangbangers, thugs, pimps, all the worst things you can think of. And they're standing on the mountain of righteousness, always standing on a mountain of righteousness, trying to talk about, we got to protect the kids, thinking it nullifies all of the terrible things they've done in life. And I'm not pointing a finger at anyone in particular, or any people in particular, but those are usually the ones that are standing on the mountain of righteousness and being erratically offensive to people that are, accused. To me, that needs to change. I'm going to go with Polight is innocent until proven guilty. Men, start respecting yourselves. You can be logical and keep your own dignity, keep your own manhood, and still be successful. It hasn't been working that great for me, but I'm sure it's possible if you just keep at it. So get in the comments, folks. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.
Follow me.
Peace.
Back to reality, break through the looking glass. What you looking at? Rude, what you looking at? I ain't looking at you, sir, I'm looking past. I gotta be mean, cause nice guys finish last. And I'm about to have a birthday bash. My life's backstage and you don't get no pass. All kind of women I get, I just don't brag. And no charges filed by any pussies that I grab. Laugh when they condemn me.